The world has gone quiet. Shadows stretch across the walls. Let your thoughts grow soft. A story waits in the stillness. If it brings you peace, like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a night. Now let the story find you. You step off the creaking stagecoach, boots sinking into the dust of a forgotten road. The air carries a chill, though the sun burns low over the horizon, painting the desert in shades of amber and rust. Before you stands Ironwood, a town that feels like it's holding its breath. Tumbleweeds skitter across the empty street, and the saloon's sign swings lazily, its hinges groaning. You've heard whispers about this place, tales of shadows that linger too long, and gates that lock secrets tighter than any vault. Your satchel swings at your side, heavy with the letter that brought you here. It's from Eliza, your old friend, penned in a trembling hand. She begged you to come, claiming something watches her from beyond the iron gate at the edge of town. You haven't seen her in years, not since you both were young and reckless, stealing glances at starlit dances. Now her words pull you to this desolate corner of the West, where the wind seems to whisper your name. You head toward the saloon, the only place with a flicker of life. The doors swing open, and the scent of stale whiskey and tobacco greets you. Eyes turn your way, weathered faces sizing you up. A piano tinkles in the corner, its notes uneven, like a heartbeat skipping. You settle at the bar, ordering a drink to steady your nerves. The bartender, a wiry man with a scar across his cheek, slides a glass your way. His name's Amos, he says, and he's got a voice like gravel. You're new, Amos mutters, wiping a glass that doesn't need cleaning. Ain't many come to Ironwood these days. What's your business? You mention Eliza's name, and the room shifts. The piano falters, and a man at a nearby table chokes on his drink. Amos leans closer, his eyes narrowing. Eliza Hawthorne? She's still up at that old ranch past the iron gate. Folks say she's gone strange, talking to shadows. You sure you want to tangle with that? You nod, though doubt curls in your chest. Eliza was always bold, laughing in the face of trouble. What could have changed her? Before you can press Amos further, a woman glides into the saloon, her crimson dress catching the lamplight. She's striking, with dark hair pinned high and eyes that seem to see through you. The room quiets as she approaches, her heels clicking like a metronome. Stranger, she says, her voice smooth as velvet. I'm Clara Voss. I overheard you mention Eliza. She's kin to me, distant, but kin. If you're heading to her ranch, you'll need to know the way. That gate's trouble. Always has been. You thank her, but something about Clara unsettles you. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes, and her fingers linger too long on your arm. She offers to guide you to the ranch tomorrow, claiming the desert's no place for a lone traveler at night. You agree, though you're not sure why. Maybe it's the way she speaks, like she knows more than she's letting on. As Clara leaves, Amos leans in again. Watch yourself with that one. Clara's got a way of twisting folks' hearts. And that gate she's talking about? It's on old land, cursed, some say. Built by a man who lost everything to greed. They say his shadow still walks. You finish your drink, the burn grounding you. The saloon's chatter resumes, but you feel eyes on your back. Stepping outside, you glance toward the edge of town, where the iron gate looms in the distance, its silhouette sharp against the fading light. It's tall, wrought with strange patterns that twist like vines or maybe chains. You can't shake the feeling it's watching you, waiting. You find a room at the boarding house, a sagging building with creaking floors. Your bed is hard, the blanket thin, but exhaustion pulls you under. As you drift off, the wind howls, carrying a sound like a low, mournful cry. You dream of Eliza, her face pale, standing behind that gate, her hands reaching for you but never touching. Morning comes too soon. You wake to the clatter of hooves outside. Clara's waiting, her horse saddled, her smile as sharp as ever. "Ready, stranger?" She calls. You grab your satchel, the letter crinkling inside, and step into the dawn. The gate waits, and with it, whatever truth Eliza's hiding. You can't turn back now. The desert stretches before you, vast and silent, but you know it's not empty. You ride beside Clara through the desert, the sun climbing higher, its heat pressing against your skin. Her horse moves with a steady grace, while yours stumbles over the uneven ground, sensing something you can't yet see. The iron gate grows larger as you approach, its twisted patterns catching the light like a spider's web. Clara hums a tune, soft and haunting, and you wonder if she's trying to calm you or herself. The air feels thick, charged with a quiet that's more than silence. You ever wonder why folks stay in a place like Ironwood? Clara asks, her voice breaking the stillness. Her eyes stay fixed on the horizon, but you feel her watching you from the corner of her gaze. It's not just home. It's like the land holds on to you, won't let go. You don't answer your thoughts on Eliza. The letter in your satchel feels heavier now, its words burned into your memory. Come quick. It's always there, behind the gate. I can't escape it. You ask Clara about the ranch, hoping for clarity, but she only shrugs, her smile flickering. Eliza's place is old, older than the town, built by a man named Caleb Warwick. He was rich once, owned half the desert, lost it all when he went mad, chasing something he couldn't name. The gate looms closer now, its shadow stretching across the sand. You dismount, tying your horse to a gnarled post. Clara does the same, her movements slow, deliberate. The gate is taller than you imagined, its iron cold to the touch despite the sun. You trace the patterns, vines or chains or something else, and a shiver runs through you. There's a lock, rusted but solid, and no key in sight. Eliza's got the key, Clara says, leaning against the gate. She's always kept it close. Never leaves the ranch now. Says it's safer inside. Her tone is light, but there's an edge to it, like she's testing you. You ask how to get in, and she points to a narrow path winding around the gate, half hidden by scrub brush. Follow that. It'll take you to the house. I'll wait here. Someone's got to mind the horses. You hesitate, glancing at the gate. It feels wrong to leave it at your back, like turning away from a predator. But Eliza's waiting, and you've come too far to stop. You start down the path, the crunch of gravel under your boots the only sound. The air grows cooler, the sunlight dimming as the path dips into a shallow ravine. You feel eyes on you, though no one's there. A whisper brushes your ear, too faint to make out, and you quicken your pace. The ranch house appears around a bend, a sprawling structure of weathered wood and cracked windows. It's grand but broken, like a fallen king. The porch sags, and the door hangs slightly ajar, creaking in the breeze. You call Eliza's name, your voice echoing in the stillness. No answer. You step onto the porch, boards groaning under your weight, and push the door open. Inside, the air is stale, thick with dust. Faded curtains hang limp, and a grandfather clock ticks in the corner, its hands frozen at midnight. You move deeper, past a dining room with a table set for one, a plate of untouched food gone gray with mold. Your heart pounds as you call for Eliza again, softer this time, like you're afraid to wake something else. A shadow moves upstairs, quick and silent. You freeze, hand on the banister. "Eliza?" You whisper. Footsteps answer, light but uneven, coming closer. You climb the stairs, each step a battle against the urge to run. At the top, a hallway stretches into darkness, doors lining both sides. One is open, spilling faint light. You approach, your breath shallow. She's there, standing by a window, her back to you. Eliza's hair is longer now, tangled, and her dress hangs loose, like she's wasting away. She doesn't turn even as you say her name. "You came," she murmurs, her voice brittle. "I didn't think you would." You step closer, relief warring with fear. She's alive, but something's wrong. Her hands tremble, clutching a key on a chain around her neck. "It's behind the gate," she says, still not facing you. "It wants me to open it. Every night it whispers my name." You ask what she means, but she shakes her head, finally turning. Her eyes are wide, haunted with shadows beneath them like bruises. "You shouldn't have come," she says, her voice breaking. "It knows you're here now." Before you can respond, a sound cuts through the house, a low, grinding creak like metal scraping metal. Eliza gasps, her hand flying to the key. "It's the gate," she whispers. "It's starting again." You turn toward the window, peering out. The gate stands in the distance, unchanged, but the air feels heavier, like a storm's brewing. Eliza grabs your arm, her grip desperate. "Don't go near it," she pleads. "Promise me." You nod, but the gate pulls at you, its shadow long and dark. Something's out there, and it's not just Eliza's fear. You glance back at her, her face pale, and wonder what you've stepped into. The ranch feels alive, watching, waiting for your next move. You stand frozen in Eliza's room, her hand still gripping your arm, her eyes wide with a fear that makes your own heart stutter. The grinding creak from the gate echoes in your mind, though the sound has faded, leaving only the tick of the grandfather clock downstairs. You try to calm her, asking what's behind the gate, but she shakes her head, lips trembling. "You don't understand," she whispers. "It's not just a thing. It's alive. It knows us." You guide her to a chair, its faded upholstery sagging under her weight. She clutches the key around her neck, her knuckles white. You kneel beside her, searching her face for the girl you once knew, the one who'd race you across fields and laugh at ghost stories. That girl is gone, replaced by this fragile woman whose every word feels like a warning. You ask about the gate again, softer now, hoping to coax out answers. "It started months ago," Eliza says, her voice barely above a whisper. "I found the key in the attic in a box of Caleb Warwick's things. It was wrapped in cloth, like someone hid it. The moment I touched it, I heard it, a voice calling me to the gate. I didn't go at first, but every night it got louder. It knows my name, my secrets." You glance at the window, the gate a dark smudge against the desert. The sun is lower now, casting long shadows that seem to reach for the house. You ask why she doesn't leave, why she stays in this crumbling ranch. She laughs a brittle sound. I tried. The road twists back. The desert won't let me go. And Clara, she says it's my duty to stay, to keep the gate locked. Clara. Her name sends a prickle down your spine. You think of her sharp smile, her knowing eyes. You ask Eliza what Clara has to do with this, and her expression darkens. She's always been here, circling like a vulture. She says she's family, but I don't trust her. She wants the key. I've seen her watching the gate, like she's waiting for something to come through. You stand, pacing the room. The floorboards creak, and dust swirls in the fading light. You're not sure what to believe. Eliza's fear is real, but her words sound like fever dreams. Yet the gate's presence lingers in your mind, its iron curves pulling at you like a magnet. You suggest leaving together right now, but Eliza shakes her head. It won't let us. Not until it's done. Before you can argue, a knock echoes from downstairs, sharp and insistent. Eliza flinches, her hand flying to the key. That's her, she hisses. Clara. She knows you're here. You move to the stairs, your boots heavy on the creaking steps. The knock comes again, louder, and you open the door to find Clara standing on the porch, her crimson dress stark against the graying light. Her smile is gone, replaced by a look of urgency. You shouldn't stay here after dark, she says. It's not safe. Come with me back to town. You glance back at Eliza, who's followed you downstairs, her eyes darting between you and Clara. She's lying, Eliza whispers. She wants you to leave so she can get to me. Clara steps closer, her voice low. Eliza's not well. You've seen it. She's been alone too long, talking to shadows. Let me help you both. You're caught between them, two women pulling you in opposite directions. Eliza's fear is a weight, but Clara's calm feels too polished, like a mask. You ask Clara why the gate matters, why everyone speaks of it like it's alive. Her eyes flicker, just for a moment. It's old, she says. Older than Ironwood. Caleb Warwick built it to keep something out, or maybe to keep it in. Nobody knows anymore, but it's best left alone. You turn to Eliza, asking her to come with you, to leave this place. She shakes her head, backing away. I can't. The key, it's mine to guard. If I leave, it'll follow. Her voice breaks and she clutches the key tighter, like it's her lifeline. Clara sighs, her patience thinning. You're wasting time. Night's coming, and the gate doesn't sleep. She steps outside, gesturing for you to follow. You hesitate, torn. Eliza's trembling, but Clara's urgency pulls at you. You tell Eliza you'll be back, promising to find answers. She nods, but her eyes are distant, like she's already half lost to whatever haunts her. You step outside with Clara, the air cooler now, the desert painted in twilight hues. The gate stands in the distance, its shadow longer, sharper. Clara mounts her horse, motioning for you to do the same. We'll talk in town, she says. Away from this place. As you ride back, the gate never leaves your sight. It feels closer, though you're moving away. The wind carries a sound, faint but unmistakable, a whisper that might be your name. You glance at Clara, but she's staring ahead, her face unreadable. You wonder what she's not telling you, what secrets she's keeping. The ranch fades behind you, but Eliza's fear stays with you. heavy as the key she guards. You ride back toward Ironwood, the desert stretching endless under a sky bruised with twilight. Clara's horse keeps a steady pace, but yours hesitates, as if it senses something you can't. The iron gate fades into the distance, yet its presence clings to you, a weight in your chest. Clara hasn't spoken since you left the ranch, her silence louder than words. You glance at her, her profile sharp against the dying light, and wonder what game she's playing. Her urgency to leave Eliza's felt too convenient, too rehearsed. The town comes into view, its scattered buildings hunched like weary travelers. Lanterns flicker in windows, casting pools of light that feel too small against the gathering dark. You pull up at the saloon where Clara ties her horse and turns to you, her eyes catching the glow. You look shaken, she says, her voice soft but probing. Eliza's got a way of doing that. Come inside. You need a drink. You follow her into the saloon, the familiar scent of whiskey and smoke wrapping around you. It's quieter tonight. Only a few patrons hunched over tables, their murmurs low. Amos is behind the bar, his scar glinting as he polishes a glass. He nods at you, but his eyes linger on Clara, a flicker of something, maybe suspicion, passing over his face. You settle at a corner table, Clara sliding into the seat across from you, her movements fluid, like she's always in control. You're wondering about the gate, she says, leaning forward, her voice barely above a whisper. Everyone does. It's not just iron and rust. It's a line, a boundary. Caleb Warwick built it to hold something back, something he found in the desert. Some say it's a spirit, others say it's worse. All I know is it's tied to that key Eliza won't let go of. You ask why she cares, why she's so invested in Eliza's fate. Clara's smile returns, but it's tighter now, like she's weighing her words. She's family, like I said. But more than that, Ironwood's my home. If something's stirring behind that gate, it's my problem too. And now it's yours, since you're here. Her words feel like a challenge, and you're not sure you trust them. You press her about Caleb Warwick, hoping to piece together the puzzle. She sighs, glancing at Amos, who's watching from the bar. Caleb was a prospector, richer than God before he lost it all. Built that ranch to impress a woman, his wife, Abigail. She died young, and he went mad after. Folks say he dug too deep in the desert, found something he shouldn't have. The gate was his way of locking it away, or maybe locking himself in with it. You lean back, the weight of her story settling over you. The saloon feels smaller, the air thicker. You ask about Eliza, why she's so scared, why she won't leave. Clara's eyes darken. She's always been stubborn, thinks she's protecting something by staying. But she's not protecting anyone. She's just feeding it. You want to ask what it is, but a commotion at the door stops you. A man stumbles in, his face pale, his hat clutched in trembling hands. It's Tom, the stable hand you saw yesterday, his eyes wild. It's out there again, he says, loud enough for the room to hush. I heard it by the gate, whispering like it knew me. The saloon goes silent, the piano stopping mid-note. Amos steps out from behind the bar, his voice sharp. Tom, you've been drinking too much. Ain't nothing out there but wind. Tom shakes his head, his voice rising. I know what I heard. It said my name clear as day. And the gate, it was shaking, like something was pushing through. You feel a chill, remembering Eliza's words, her fear of the gate. Clara's watching Tom, her expression unreadable, but her fingers tighten around her glass. You ask Tom what he means, and he turns to you, his eyes haunted. You don't go near that gate at night. It sees you. It knows what you're hiding. Amos grabs Tom's arm, steering him toward a chair. Enough of that. Sit down before you scare the whole town. But the damage is done. The other patrons shift uncomfortably, their whispers starting up again. You look at Clara, expecting her to dismiss Tom's story, but she's staring at the door, her face pale. You decide to head back to the boarding house, needing space to think. Clara offers to walk with you, but you decline, wanting to be alone. The night air is cold, the stars sharp above. As you walk, the town feels alive, its shadows moving just out of sight. You pass the edge of Ironwood, where the gate's silhouette looms in the distance. It's too far to see clearly, but you swear it shifts, like it's breathing. Your room is as you left it, the bed creaking as you sit. You pull out Eliza's letter, rereading her words by lamplight. It's always there, behind the gate. You think of Tom's fear, Clara's secrets, and the key around Eliza's neck. Sleep feels impossible. But you lie down, the darkness pressing close. The wind howls outside, carrying that same mournful cry you heard before. It's not your Ministry of Health and Welfare, but it's there, low and insistent, calling you back to the gate. You wake to a gray dawn, the wind still muttering outside your window. Sleep came in fragments, broken by dreams of the iron gate, its patterns twisting like living things. You sit up, Eliza's letter crumpled beside you, its words a tether pulling you back to her ranch. You can't stay away, not after Tom's story last night, not with Clara's cryptic warnings circling your thoughts. You need answers, and they're behind that gate. You dress quickly, grabbing your satchel and head downstairs. The boarding house is quiet, the other guests still asleep or gone. You step into the street, where Ironwood feels smaller, its buildings leaning closer, like they're whispering secrets. You make your way to the stable, where Tom is brushing down a horse, his hands steadier than last night, but his eyes still darting. You ask if he's seen Clara, hoping to avoid her, but he shakes his head. She's always slipping off, probably out by the gate again. His words stop you. You ask what he means, and he hesitates, glancing over his shoulder. Seen her out there sometimes, at dusk. Standing by the gate, talking to nobody. Gives me the chills. You thank him and saddle your horse, your mind racing. Clara's tied to this, deeper than she's letting on, and you're not sure you trust her to guide you anymore. The ride to the ranch is lonely, the desert vast and watchful. The gate looms ahead, its shadow pooling like ink. You dismount, tying your horse far enough to keep it calm and take the path around the gate, the same one Clara showed you. The air feels heavier today, the silence pressing against your ears. You reach the ranch house, its broken windows glinting like eyes. You call for Eliza, but only the wind answers. Inside, the house is colder, the dust thicker. You move through the rooms, searching for her, but the place feels empty, abandoned. The grandfather clock still ticks, its hands stuck at midnight, a reminder of time standing still. You climb the stairs, your boots echoing, and check her room. The chair where she sat yesterday is overturned, the window open, curtains fluttering. Your heart lurches, you call her name again, louder, but there's no reply. You notice something on the floor, a scrap of paper half hidden under the chair. You pick it up, your fingers trembling. It's a sketch, rough but clear, of the iron gate, its patterns drawn with obsessive care. Below it, in Eliza's handwriting, are the words, "It wants the key. It knows I'm weak." You stuff the paper into your satchel, fear tightening your chest. Where is she? A sound breaks the silence, a soft thump from downstairs. You freeze, listening. It comes again, like something heavy shifting. You descend the stairs, moving quietly, your hand brushing the wall for balance. The noise is coming from the dining room, where the table still holds that moldy plate. You step inside and see a door in the corner, one you missed before, slightly ajar. It leads to a pantry, its shelves bare, except for a few rusted cans. You push the door open, and the smell hits you, damp and earthy, like a grave. A trapdoor is set into the floor, its edges worn smooth. The thump comes again, from below. You hesitate, every instinct screaming to leave, but Eliza might be down there. You lift the trapdoor, its hinges groaning, revealing a narrow staircase descending into darkness. You light a match from your satchel, its flame weak but enough to see the steps. You descend, the air growing colder, the walls closing in. The match flickers, casting shadows that dance like ghosts. At the bottom you find a cellar, its walls lined with shelves holding jars of murky liquid. In the center is a table, and on it lies a book, its cover cracked leather, its pages yellowed. You step closer, the match burning low, and see a name etched into the cover. Caleb Warwick. You open the book, its pages filled with jagged handwriting. It's a journal, Caleb's, detailing his life, his wealth, his love for Abigail. But the later entries grow frantic, speaking of a discovery in the desert, a shadow that followed him home. "It promised me everything," he wrote, "but it took her instead. The gate must hold it." You flip to the last page, where a single line is scrawled, "The key is her heart. She must not open it." The match goes out, plunging you into darkness. You fumble for another, but a sound stops you, a whisper, soft and close, like breath against your neck. It's your name, spoken in a voice that's not Eliza's, not Clara's, but something older, hungrier. You back away, your heart pounding, and strike another match. The cellar is empty, but the air feels alive, watching. You grab the journal and climb the stairs, slamming the trapdoor shut. You need to find Eliza now. You search the house again, calling her name, but she's gone. As you step onto the porch, you see something in the distance, a figure by the gate. It's Eliza, her dress catching the wind, her hands clutching the key. She's walking toward it, slow and deliberate, like she's in a trance. You run, shouting her name, but she doesn't turn. The gate looms closer, its iron glinting in the pale light. You reach her just as her hand touches the lock, the key trembling in her grasp. "Don't," you plead, grabbing her arm. Her eyes meet yours, empty, like she's not there. "It's time," she whispers, her voice not entirely her own. "It's been waiting." You hold Eliza's arm, your fingers digging into her sleeve, desperate to pull her back from the gate. Her eyes are distant, glazed, as if she's seeing something beyond the iron bars. The key trembles in her hand, inches from the lock, and the air around you hums with a strange energy, like the moment before a storm breaks. The desert is silent, no wind, no birds, just the weight of the gate looming over you both. You whisper her name, soft but urgent, trying to break whatever spell holds her. "Eliza, look at me," you say, your voice steady despite the fear clawing at your chest. She blinks, slow, like she's waking from a dream. Her gaze shifts to you, and for a moment you see the old Eliza, the one who laughed under starlit skies. But it's fleeting, her expression twisting back to that hollow stare. "It's calling me," she murmurs. "It knows what I've done." You ask what she means, but she shakes her head, her grip on the key tightening. You glance at the gate, its twisted patterns seeming to pulse in the dim light. The journal's words echo in your mind, Caleb's warning about the key and the shadow. You try to pull her away, but she resists, her strength surprising. "I can't leave it," she says. "It won't let me." A sound breaks the tension, a sharp crack like a branch snapping. You spin around, scanning the desert, but nothing moves. The gate stands silent, but you feel it watching, its iron bars like eyes. You turn back to Eliza, pleading now. "Whatever's out there, we can face it together. But not here, not like this." She hesitates, her hand hovering over the lock, then slowly lowers the key. Relief floods you, but it's short-lived. Footsteps crunch behind you, deliberate and slow. You turn to see Clara approaching, her crimson dress catching the last light of day. Her face is calm, but her eyes are sharp, fixed on Eliza. "You're making a mistake," she says, her voice smooth but edged with warning. "That key doesn't belong to you, Eliza. It never did." Eliza stiffens, clutching the key to her chest. "You don't understand," she snaps. "You never have. You want it for yourself." Her words are venomous, and you step between them, sensing the air crackling with more than just their feud. You ask Clara why she's here, why she keeps circling the gate like a hawk. Clara's smile is thin, calculated. "I told you, I'm protecting Ironwood. That gate's a danger, and Eliza's too weak to handle it. Give me the key, and I'll make sure it stays locked." Her words sound reasonable, but there's a hunger in her eyes, a glint that makes you doubt her. You glance at Eliza, who's shaking her head, tears brimming. "She's lying," Eliza whispers. "She's always wanted it. She's been out here, talking to it just like Caleb did." You look back at Clara, searching for truth, but her face is a mask. You're caught between them again, two women bound by secrets you don't understand. You ask Clara what she knows about the gate, what she's not telling you. She steps closer, her voice dropping. Caleb Warwick wasn't just mad. He made a deal out there in the desert. Something gave him his wealth, his power, but it took his wife. The gate was his cage for it, and the key was his promise. Eliza's meddling with things she can't control. You've seen her, how she's fading. It's eating her alive. You feel the journal in your satchel, heavy with Caleb's words. You ask Clara why she wants the key, what she plans to do with it. Her smile falters just for a second. "To keep it safe," she says. "To keep Ironwood safe. You're new here, you don't know what's at stake." But her words feel rehearsed, and you catch a flicker of something, guilt, maybe, or fear, in her eyes. Eliza steps forward, her voice stronger now. She's no savior. She's been out here at night, whispering to the gate. I've seen her. She wants what Caleb wanted, power, promises. Clara's face hardens, and for a moment you think she might lunge at Eliza. But she steps back, her hands raised, placating. "You're tired, Eliza," Clara says. "You're seeing things that aren't there. Come back to town, both of you. Let's talk this through." But you're not sure who to trust. Eliza's fear is raw, but Clara's calm feels like a trap. You suggest going back to the ranch, away from the gate, to figure things out. Eliza nods, but Clara hesitates, her eyes lingering on the key. You lead Eliza back to the house, Clara trailing behind, her presence like a shadow you can't shake. Inside, the air is still cold, the clock still ticking at midnight. You sit Eliza down, pouring her water from a dusty pitcher. She drinks, her hands shaking, and you pull out the journal, showing her Caleb's words. Her eyes widen as she reads, her fingers tracing the line about the key and Abigail's heart. "It's true," she whispers. "I feel it every night. It wants me to open the gate, to let it out." You ask what it is, but she shakes her head, tears falling. "I don't know, but it's been here forever, waiting." Clara stands by the door, watching, her silence heavy. You feel the gate's pull, even from here, its shadow stretching across your thoughts. You know you can't stay in this house much longer, not with night falling and the gate so close. But leaving means choosing who to trust, and you're not sure you trust either of them. You sit in the dim ranch house, the air thick with dust and tension. Eliza huddles in her chair, clutching the key like it's her lifeline, her eyes darting to the windows as dusk creeps closer. Clara leans against the doorframe, her posture relaxed, but her gaze sharp, watching every move you make. The journal rests on the table, its pages open to Caleb's frantic words about the gate and the shadow. You feel caught, trapped between Eliza's fear and Clara's calculated calm, with the iron gate's shadow looming over it all. You try to focus, asking Eliza to explain what she's seen, what the gate wants. Her voice is shaky, barely above a whisper. "It's not just one thing," she says, her fingers twisting the key's chain. It's voices, shadows, all pressing against the gate. At night, they get louder, clearer. They know my name, my past, everything I've ever hidden. She pauses, her eyes meeting yours, pleading. "You believe me, don't you? I'm not crazy." You nod, though doubt gnaws at you. Her words sound like madness, but the journal's warnings, Tom's fear, even Clara's cryptic hints, all point to something real. You turn to Clara, asking why she's so eager to take the key. Her smile is gone now, her face a mask of patience, wearing thin. "I've told you," she says, her voice clipped. "It's about keeping Ironwood safe. Eliza's too fragile to handle this. She's letting it get inside her head." Eliza's head snaps up, her voice sharp. "You're the one who's been out there, Clara. I've seen you, standing by the gate, whispering like you're making promises." Clara's eyes narrow, but she doesn't deny it. Instead, she steps closer, her movements slow, deliberate. "You're tired, Eliza. You're seeing what you want to see. Let me take the key, and this ends." You stand, putting yourself between them, the tension in the room like a taut wire. You ask Clara what she'd do with the key, what she knows that she's not sharing. She hesitates, her gaze flickering to the window, where the gate's silhouette is just visible in the fading light. "I'd keep it locked," she says finally. "Caleb made mistakes, but he was right about one thing. The gate holds something back. Something that doesn't belong here." Her words echo Caleb's journal, but they feel hollow, like she's reciting a script. You glance at Eliza, who's shaking her head, tears streaking her face. She's lying, Eliza whispers. She wants what it offers. Power, like Caleb wanted. That's why she's always here, always watching. You're torn, the weight of their words pulling you in two directions. You pick up the journal, flipping to a passage you hadn't noticed before, written in a shakier hand. Abigail knew the truth. She tried to warn me, but I didn't listen. The shadow speaks in her voice now. You read it aloud, watching Clara's reaction. Her face stays calm, but her hands clench, just for a moment. What does it mean? You ask, holding her gaze. Why does it mention Abigail's voice? Clara shrugs, but there's a tightness in her shoulders. Caleb was mad by the end. He heard things, saw things. The desert does that to people. But her answer feels too quick, and you wonder what she's hiding. Eliza stands, her voice stronger now. It's not madness. I've heard it too, calling me in a woman's voice, soft, like a lullaby. It says it can give me everything, fix everything, if I just open the gate. She looks at you, desperate. But I know it's a lie. It wants to be free, and it'll use anyone to get out. You feel the room closing in, the air heavy with the weight of their words. You suggest leaving the ranch, taking Eliza back to Ironwood, away from the gate's pull. But Clara shakes her head. Night's falling, she says. You don't want to be out there now. Stay here, but keep that key close. We'll sort this out come morning. You don't trust her, but she's right about the night. The desert feels different after dark, alive in a way that makes your skin crawl. You agree to stay, but you insist on keeping watch. Clara nods, settling into a chair by the window, her eyes never leaving the gate. Eliza curls up in her chair, the key still clutched tight, her breathing uneven. You pace the room, the journal in your hands. Its pages a map to a truth you're not sure you want to find. The clock ticks on, stuck at midnight, and the house creaks, like it's breathing with you. You glance outside where the gate stands silent, its shadow stretching toward the house. A sound drifts through the night, faint but unmistakable. A woman's voice, soft and lilting, calling your name. You freeze, your heart pounding. Eliza's asleep, her chest rising and falling, but Clara's awake, her head turned toward the gate. You heard it too, she says, not a question. You nod, unable to speak. The voice comes again, closer now, and you realize it's not coming from the gate. It's inside the house, somewhere deep, like the cellar you found earlier. You grab a lantern, its light weak but steady, and head for the pantry. Clara follows, her steps silent, her face unreadable. You lift the trapdoor, the same damp, earthy smell rising from below. Stay with Eliza, you tell Clara, but she shakes her head. You'll need me, she says, and you don't argue. The voice calls again, your name a whisper that pulls you down the stairs into the dark. You descend the cellar stairs, the lantern casting trembling shadows on the damp stone walls. Clara follows close behind, her breath steady, but her silence unnerving. The voice calling your name has faded, but its echo lingers in your mind, soft and insistent. Like a lullaby you can't shake. The air grows colder with each step, the smell of earth and decay thickening. You clutch the journal tighter, Caleb's words a fragile anchor against the unknown waiting below. The cellar is as you left it, shelves of murky jars glinting in the lantern's glow. The table in the center holding nothing, now but dust. You set the lantern down, its light pooling weakly, and scan the room. The voice felt so close, but the cellar is empty, the shadows still. Clara stands by the stairs, her arms crossed, her eyes darting to the corners. "You're chasing ghosts," she says, her voice low. "There's nothing here." You ignore her, running your hands along the walls, searching for anything out of place. The journal mentioned Abigail's voice, and now you've heard it too, calling from this very house. You ask Clara if she's ever been down here, if she knows what Caleb found. She hesitates, then shakes her head. Caleb was a fool. He dug up things best left buried. This cellar was his sanctuary, or maybe his prison. I don't come here. Her words feel like half-truths, but you don't press her, not yet. You move to the shelves, inspecting the jars. They're filled with dark liquid, shapes floating inside that you don't want to look at too closely. One jar, tucked in the back, is different, smaller, its contents clearer. You hold the lantern closer and see a locket inside, silver and tarnished, suspended in the liquid like a relic. Your heart skips. You've seen that locket before. In a faded photograph Eliza showed you years ago, one of her and her mother, Abigail's daughter. You reach for the jar, but Clara grabs your wrist, her grip firm. "Don't," she says, her voice sharp. You don't know what you're touching. You pull away, asking why she's so afraid. Her eyes flicker to the jar, then back to you. Some things are better left alone. That locket, it's tied to her, to Abigail. Caleb kept it down here for a reason. You ask what she means, but before she can answer, the lantern flickers, the flame dipping low. The air shifts, growing heavier, and that voice comes again, your name whispered from the far corner of the cellar. You spin, holding the lantern high, but there's nothing, just shadows curling like smoke. Clara steps back, her face pale, and you realize she heard it too. You move toward the corner, the journal tucked under your arm, the lantern shaking in your hand. The wall there is different, rougher, with faint scratches etched into the stone. You trace them, your fingers catching on lines that form a pattern, vines or chains, like the gate's design. You press harder, and the wall shifts, a low grinding sound echoing as a section slides open, revealing a narrow tunnel. Clara grabs your arm again, her voice urgent. "Don't go in there. You don't know what's waiting." But you shake her off, the voice still pulling you, its whisper now a plea. You step into the tunnel, the lantern barely lighting the way. The walls are damp, the air thick with the scent of iron and earth. Clara follows, her footsteps hesitant, her breathing uneven. The tunnel slopes downward, the air growing colder, the walls tightening around you. You feel the gate's presence, even here, its shadow stretching through the earth. The journal's weight is a reminder of Caleb's warnings, but you can't turn back. Not with the voice calling, not with Eliza upstairs, lost to her fear. The tunnel opens into a small chamber, its walls carved with the same twisting patterns as the gate. In the center is a stone pedestal, and on it a single candle, unlit but warm, as if it's been burning for years. You set the lantern down, your hands trembling as you open the journal. The last pages are frantic, Caleb's handwriting barely legible. The gate is not enough. It's in the house, in the walls, in her voice. I locked her heart away, but it still calls. You look at the candle, then at Clara, who's standing at the tunnel's entrance, her face unreadable. "What is this place?" You ask, your voice echoing. She steps forward, her eyes on the candle. "Caleb's last stand," she says softly. "He thought he could trap it here, whatever he found. Abigail tried to stop him, but it took her instead. That locket, that candle, they're all that's left of her. You ask why the voice calls your name, why it feels so personal." Clara's gaze hardens. It knows you're here. It knows you're with Eliza. It wants the key, and it'll use anyone to get it. The candle flickers, though there's no breeze, and the voice comes again, closer, clearer, speaking your name like a lover's whisper. You back away, the journal slipping from your hands, its pages scattering. Clara kneels to gather them, but her hands shake, and you see fear in her eyes for the first time. "We need to leave," she says. "Now." You grab the lantern, but as you turn, the candle on the pedestal flares to life, its flame casting shadows that twist like the gates. The voice grows louder, not just your name now, but words, promises of power, of secrets, if you'll only open the gate. You run, Clara behind you, the tunnel seeming longer, the walls closing in. You emerge in the cellar, slamming the hidden door shut, your heart pounding. Upstairs, Eliza is awake, standing by the window, staring at the gate. "You heard it," she says, not turning. "It's stronger now because of you." You don't know what to say, the locket, the candle, the voice, all swirling in your mind. The gate is closer than ever, its shadow reaching for you all. You stand in the ranch house, the lantern's glow barely holding back the dark. Eliza's words hang heavy, her accusation that the voice grew stronger because of you cutting deeper than you expected. She's still by the window, her silhouette sharp against the night, the key glinting at her throat. Clara's beside you, the journal clutched in her hands, her face pale from what you saw in the cellar. The gate's shadow feels alive, creeping through the walls, its whispers echoing in your thoughts. You're running out of time to decide who to trust or what to do. You step toward Eliza, your voice soft, trying to pull her back from whatever trance holds her. "We need to leave," you say. "This house, the gate, it's not safe." She turns, her eyes wide, haunted, but there's a flicker of defiance. "You don't understand," she says. "I can't leave. The key's mine, to guard. If I go, it'll follow, and it'll take everything." You glance at Clara, hoping for support, but she's staring at the journal, her fingers tracing Caleb's words. You ask her what she's thinking, why she's so quiet. She looks up, her expression unreadable. "Caleb tried to trap it," she says, "down there in that chamber. But he failed. The gate's not just a lock, it's a door. And the key, it's not just metal. It's tied to Abigail, to Eliza, to this whole cursed line." Eliza flinches, her hand flying to the key. "Stop it," she snaps. "You're twisting it, like you always do. You want it for yourself." Clara steps closer, her voice low, almost pleading. "I'm trying to save you, Eliza. You're fading, can't you feel it? It's using you, just like it used Caleb." The air crackles between them, their words a tangle of fear and secrets. You're tired of their riddles. You grab the journal from Clara, flipping to the passage about Abigail's heart. "What does this mean?" You demand, holding it up. "Why does it call her heart the key?" Clara hesitates, her eyes darting to Eliza, who's trembling now, tears streaking her face. "It's not literal," Clara says finally. "Caleb believed Abigail's love kept the shadow at bay. When she died, he used the locket, the key, to bind it. But it's not enough. It never was. Eliza shakes her head, backing away. You're wrong. It's not about love. It's about sacrifice. I've heard it every night telling me to open the gate, to give myself to it. It says it'll let me go if I do. Her voice breaks and you step toward her, your heart aching. You tell her she's stronger than this, that you'll find another way. But the house groans, a deep, shuddering sound that makes the floor tremble. The lantern flickers, and outside the gate's silhouette seems to shift, its patterns writhing in the moonlight. You feel it, the same pull you felt in the cellar, the voice whispering promises, not just to Eliza, but to you. It knows your fears, your doubts, offering to erase them if you'll only turn the key. Clara grabs your arm, her grip urgent. We can't stay here, she says. It's waking up because of her. She points at Eliza, who's staring at the gate, her hand on the key, her lips moving silently. You call her name, but she doesn't respond, her steps slow as she moves toward the door. You lunge, grabbing her shoulders, pulling her back. Don't, you plead. Whatever it's promising, it's a lie. She looks at you, her eyes clearing for a moment. I'm so tired, she whispers. I just want it to stop. You hold her close, her frame fragile, and glance at Clara, who's watching the gate, her face grim. We need to destroy the key, Clara says. It's the only way to end this. But Eliza pulls away, her voice sharp. No. It's all I have left of her, of my family. You're torn, the journal's warnings clashing with Eliza's desperation and Clara's insistence. You ask Clara how to destroy it, what it would mean. She hesitates, her eyes flickering to the gate. Fire, she says. Caleb wrote about it, purifying the key in flame. But it's risky. The shadow won't let it go easily. You look at Eliza, who's shaking her head, clutching the key like it's her heart. The house groans again, louder, and the windows rattle. The voice returns, not a whisper now, but a chorus, calling all your names, weaving through the walls. You feel it in your chest, a pressure that makes it hard to breathe. Eliza stumbles, her hand reaching for the door again, and you pull her back, your voice firm. Stay with me, you say? We're not giving in. Clara moves to the fireplace, grabbing a poker, her hand steady despite the chaos. We do this now, she says, or it's over for all of us. You nod, though fear churns in your gut. You guide Eliza to the hearth, where Clara's already piling kindling. Eliza resists, her voice rising. You can't take it. It's mine. But her strength is fading, her body trembling as the voice grows louder, its promises turning to threats. You kneel beside her, holding her hands, the key cold between you. We'll do this together, you say, your voice a lifeline. The fire catches, its warmth pushing back the dark, but the gate's shadow looms larger, its presence a weight you can't ignore. You know the fight's not over, not yet. You kneel by the fireplace, the flames crackling as they devour the kindling, their heat a frail shield against the cold seeping through the ranch house. Eliza's hands tremble in yours, the key dangling between you, its metal catching the firelight like a trapped star. Her eyes are wide, torn between fear and defiance, while the voice from the gate grows louder, a chorus of whispers weaving through the walls, promising freedom, power, everything you've ever wanted. Clara stands nearby, the poker in her hand, her face set with a determination that feels too sharp, too hungry. The gate's shadow stretches across the room, its patterns twisting in the flickering light, and you know this moment will decide everything. You speak to Eliza, your voice soft but firm, trying to anchor her. "We can end this," you say. "The key's not your burden anymore. Let it go." She shakes her head, tears falling, her grip tightening. "It's all I have," she whispers. "It's her, my family, everything." You glance at the journal on the table. Caleb's words about Abigail's heart burning in your mind. You tell her the key's not her mother, not her family. It's a chain, binding her to something that wants to consume her. Clara steps closer, her voice cutting through the whispers. "We don't have time," she says. "The gate's waking. If we don't destroy the key now, it'll take her, and us with it." You look at her, searching for truth in her eyes, but they're shadowed, her motive still a mystery. You ask why she's so certain, why she's pushing so hard. She hesitates, then says, "I've seen what it does." Caleb, Abigail, now Eliza. It doesn't stop until it's free. The house shudders, a deep groan that makes the floorboards creak. The windows rattle, and outside the gate's silhouette pulses, its iron bars seeming to bend. The voice turns sharp, no longer pleading but demanding, your name a lash that makes you flinch. Eliza gasps, her hand jerking toward the key, like it's moving on its own. You hold her tighter, pulling her focus back to you. "Stay with me," you say. "You're stronger than it." Clara kneels beside the fire, feeding it more wood, the flames roaring higher. "Give me the key," she says, her hand outstretched. Eliza recoils, clutching it to her chest. "No," she says, her voice breaking. "You'll use it. I know you will." You're caught between them, the fire's heat on your face, the gate's cold at your back. You ask Eliza to trust you, to let you hold the key, just for a moment. She looks at you, her eyes searching yours, and slowly her fingers loosen. The key slips into your hand, heavy, colder than it should be. The voice screams, a sound that's not sound but pressure, filling your skull. You stagger, the room tilting, but you hold on, the key's weight grounding you. Clara reaches for it, but you pull back, not ready to trust her. "We do this together," you say, your voice steady despite the chaos. You move to the fire, the key dangling from its chain, the flames reflecting in its surface. Eliza watches, her breath hitching, her hands clasped like she's praying. Clara stands beside you, her eyes fixed on the key, her expression unreadable. You hold the key over the fire, its heat licking at your fingers, and the voice turns desperate, offering you everything. Your dreams, your fears erased, if you'll only stop. You look at Eliza, her face pale but resolute, and you know you can't falter. You drop the key into the flames, the metal hissing as it lands. The fire flares, unnatural, blue and green tongues curling around the key. The house shakes, a violent tremor that knocks the lantern from the table, its glass shattering. The voice becomes a wail, piercing, and the gate's shadow writhes, its patterns breaking apart, like smoke. Eliza cries out, falling to her knees, her hands over her ears. Clara grabs the poker, stirring the fire, her face grim. "Keep it burning," she says, her voice tight. You feed the fire more wood, the flames roaring, the key glowing red, then white, its shape melting. The wail grows fainter, the gate's shadow fading, but you feel a pull, like something fighting to hold on. Then silence. The fire dies to embers, the key gone, a puddle of molten metal in the ashes. The house is still, the gate's silhouette just iron now, lifeless in the moonlight. Eliza's sobbing, her hands empty, her burden lifted but her heart broken. You kneel beside her, holding her as she shakes, whispering that it's over, that she's free. Clara stands by the window, staring at the gate, her face a mix of relief and something else, loss maybe. You ask if it's truly done, and she nods, but her eyes don't meet yours. "It's done," she says. "For now." Her words linger, a warning you can't ignore, but you're too tired to chase them. You help Eliza to her feet, her steps unsteady but her eyes clearer, like she's waking from a long sleep. The three of you leave the house, the desert air cool against your skin, the gate silent behind you. You ride back to Ironwood, Eliza leaning against you, Clara riding ahead, her silence heavy. The town feels different, lighter, but you know its secrets will never fully fade. Some stories stay with us long after the words fade. Let this one rest beside you. Sleep deeply, and if it returns in your dreams, perhaps it was never truly gone.